Hi, it's Tina here. Now, you may remember the movie Jerry Maguire and the really famous line towards the end of the movie where Tom Cruise comes out with this great big long speech and the girl says, "You had me at hello." Now, how would you like to get your audiences at hello? Because your opening of your presentation, your webinar, your video, whatever is crucial. So I'd like to ask you the question, how good is your opening? Are you really engaging your audience at hello? You have literally just a few seconds to grab the audience's attention. Otherwise, their mind is elsewhere. It's in their Facebook account or their Twitter account or what they're going to have for tea or, what tasks they've got to do that day. Now, most presentations have a standard structure: introduction, body, and conclusion. What they should have, as well as the intro, the body, and the conclusion, is a great big opening that grabs their attention and a big finish and call to action at the end. Now, this little training tip is just focusing on the opening. Now, the opening is the reason your audience should listen to the rest of your presentation. Otherwise, why should they? Why shouldn't their attention be elsewhere? You've got to really give them that reason to listen to the rest of your talk right there from the very start. So you need to make it impactful. So it needs to be something that's going to get them thinking, shake them out of their, current state, if you like. It also needs to be relevant. I hear so many openings which have no bearing to the rest of the talk whatsoever, especially people who start their presentations with like bad jokes which are just not relevant. Okay, so make it relevant. And on that, if it's relevant, it should lead them into the rest of the presentation. The opening should also be short. You don't want a great big rambling opening. You just basically want it to be short and impactful, but then leading into the rest of the talk seamlessly. So in a kind of way, it doesn't even need to be really obvious where your opening finishes and where the rest of it starts. Okay, so those are some rules that you need to have for your opening. Now, really good types of opening are questions. Questions that make your audience think. So you don't want to ask questions which are just going to either get them thinking that, no, that's not relevant to me, or you don't want them just answering yes or no. So you want questions that are going to make them think. Like, for example, I asked at the start of this presentation, how good is your opening? So it gets you thinking about your opening. So you really want to ask questions which are going to get your audience engaged and thinking, because if they're thinking of an answer to the question that you've asked them, then their attention is not elsewhere, because the brain can't be doing two kind of cognitive things all at once. So ask questions that are going to get them really thinking. You can use quotations, but again, they have to be relevant and they have to be, try and avoid quotations which are kind of overused. So use quotations, again, that are going to get people's attention and make them think. Same with either fascinating facts or startling statements, and statistics as well you can use in amongst this lot. So get them, thinking, wow, I didn't know that. Like, for example, one of my webinars, I put up a picture of a plane crash, and I used a statistic that, statistically speaking, people are more likely to survive the plane crash than they are to click on a banner advertisement on a website. And it's also important when you do put up those kind of statements or statistics that you back up the source. So I got that source from, and I referenced, the marketing source that I got it from. So these are the kind of things that you can do. And you can also, although I say that the opening should be relevant, you can actually have left field beginnings. So something that people are not expecting, so that they get them, that although you want it to be relevant, you can use, like, for example, a metaphor which is relevant and it's going to explain what you want to teach. But at the very beginning, people are thinking, what? So for example, one of my clients is using a question which is totally it appears totally unrelated to the topic she's talking about, and it leaves people thinking, what? And all of a sudden you have their attention, because they're thinking, hang on a minute, this isn't what I was expecting. Am I in the right place? Am I in the right room? But you're grabbing their attention. And then, of course, as you lead into your introduction, you show the relevance of that statement or that question, or, that left field beginning. All right, so there's a few types of opening for you to play with. Now, what I suggest is that you use those tips and go and write a whole bunch of openings and then try them out. You can try them out on just your friends, relatives, a safe environment, or go and try them out for real in your Facebook Lives and all that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, I can't teach you in this little short snippet everything that there is to know about openings, and I've got some loads of cool examples. So if you want more examples, if you want some more information on how to create a killer opening, then I really think it would be a really cool idea for you to join us in my paid monthly membership program. Right now it's only $19 per month. That's going to be going up very, very shortly. So if you want lots more information where these tips have come from, then do join us in there. In the meantime, I hope this has given you enough to have a play and get started and start making your openings way more impactful so that you get your audience at hello.